If you are running into filament errors on your Robo E3 Pro, even when you have filament loaded, this could be due to a faulty filament runout detection sensor located on the back of your Robo E3 Pro. Now, to find out for sure whether this sensor is the problem, go into Tools and then Settings. Scroll down until Filament Check appears on screen. Toggle it off. Then try another print. If you are able to print successfully with that turned off, it means that the sensor is what is causing the issue. Now you can continue to print without the sensor working and filament check turned off, but be aware that that means that if your filament spool were to run out in the middle of a print, the printer would no longer know and would keep printing. There would just not be any filament coming out, so you would lose that print were that to happen. For the rest of this video, I'm going to instead show you how you can replace that sensor with a new one, and after you do so, just make sure you toggle that right back on. Let's get started. Either unload or snip off the filament from your printer so that you can remove it from the filament detection sensor in the back. You'll also want to power off your 3D printer to make sure no electricity is running to anything. Once you've done both of those things, grab an Allen wrench and a pair of needle nose pliers. Use the Allen wrench to remove this white panel from the inside of your Robo E3 Pro. There are 4 screws, 2 located on the right and 2 on the left. When you release the last screw, carefully slide it forward and down so that you don't kink or interfere with this ribbon cable coming forward. There are 2 different options for the filament runout detection sensor depending on when you purchased your Robo E3 Pro. With the first one, you can see a circuit board on the inside of the printer once you start taking it apart. If you have version 2, when you open it up, you will instead find a black surrounded sensor that looks like this. To remove this one, go to the back of the machine and look for the screw on the side of the sensor. You can remove this screw to separate the sensor from the bracket. Once that screw's been removed, you can slide the sensor forward and unplug the wire. Simply grab your new one to reinstall. For version 1, unscrew the 2 screws that attach the circuit board to the back of the 3D printer. Make sure you don't lose the little washers that are around these screws. When it's loose, you can remove the entire piece and bring it towards you. Then use the needle nose pliers to carefully unconnect the wires here, but make sure you're only grabbing it by the plastic piece and not the wires themselves. Once it's disconnected, you can see that the backside has a limit switch. Before replacing the sensor, one thing you can try is simply adjusting the angle of the metal piece that activates this little limit switch. Simply bend it so that it activates a little earlier. Now, the exact angle here will take some trial and error to get just right, but you are welcome to try multiple angles before replacing the sensor, just to see if that works for you. If it doesn't resolve the issue, you'll need to get an entirely new sensor and install it in place. With the new one, reconnect the wires and then reinstall in position. Now, if you're going from version 1 to version 2, you'll need to make sure you have both the new sensor and the bracket to hold it with. Install the bracket first by placing it inside the opening. Line up the holes and secure with the screws. Insert the new sensor in place and plug in the wire. Run another screw through the hole in the side of the bracket to attach the sensor to the bracket. Reposition the white cover and make sure that you line up the ribbon cable on the left-hand side, and don't crunch or kink any of the other wires as you line everything back up. Use the Allen wrench to secure. There you have it. You're now able to turn your printer back on, reload your filament, and with Filament Check turned on, send your next print.